Jim, all of these controls have made you a bit cranky this week.
Well, I think that when you unleash something in the weekend without talking to people who have been very respectful of the government, and then you come up with another story today, I mean, what are they going to do tomorrow? This is actually not the way. It's a very ill-advised strategy. It's probably our most pristine, fantastic industry. Yes, they have a problem with China. The Commerce Department lists 18 friendly countries, not included Iceland, not included Israel, not including Mexico.
Jim Cramer criticized recent U.S. government actions, especially the imposition of export restrictions on AI-related chips, arguing that they show a lack of respect for tech leaders like Nvidia and AMD. He believes these moves could stifle innovation in a crucial industry, particularly amidst the challenges with China. Cramer also discussed the potential of quantum computing, noting its early stage but growing interest from companies like Microsoft and Nvidia. He emphasized the need to focus on practical engineering applications, rather than relying solely on scientific research, for quantum to become viable. Finally, Cramer expressed concern about the impact of new AI chip export rules on the tech sector, fearing they could hinder innovation. While national security is important, he believes the current approach might be more of a setback than a solution and hopes future administrations will clarify and ease the regulations.
This is just what I call maybe the most abusive of an otherwise really stellar period for the Commerce Department. It's a shame that this may be a legacy because, holy cow, has Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, but all the Lam researchers, the AMATs, they've played ball, they've done everything right, and it's not been enough. And this endless foray over and over with new things. Let's treat these business people with a degree of respect. David, this is what I'm talking about. You issue regulations over the weekend, which says that Israel and Iceland, there's 29 countries in the EU, only 18 around the whole world that are friendly. What is going on with that department? That department understood business. That department was one of the few departments in this whole administration that understood that business is the greatest source of social change and the greatest source of innovation. And they're being treated as if they are shabby fools.
You don't think it's just about concerning the fact that AI is an incredibly powerful tool and in the hands of our enemies could be
I think this is a blunt instrument. Why not sit down and talk with Jensen, with Lisa? Why not sit down and talk with the Lam Research people? What did they do to deserve this? Peter Navarro, yes, okay, buddy, pal, friend, Peter Navarro from the next administration. Even he, as hawkish as he is on China, would have more respect for the business people in this country. By the way, I mean, I think that the people who have played by the rules are being treated as if they've been trying to funnel chips to the PRC. It's the opposite. They've done everything that the government wants. It's time for the government to come out from behind the covers and explain why Jensen Huang has done what's wrong. Because that's the way he's being treated. Instead of the person who has done the most to advance us as a country when it comes to technology, anytime since, okay, Musk. Those two, all right? I am upset about this. It's like they do it over the weekend. They do it. What's tomorrow? Hey, on January 17th, are they still going to be issuing things?
I'm glad you mentioned
What's
Jensen,
Gen 17 bring?
He did, Jim. He did knock down the quantum names a few days ago with those comments in his
now Microsoft
keynote.
likes quantum.
And then now you got this Microsoft blog and Nvidia today announcing a quantum day in March at one of their events.
Well, it's good. It helps the longs against the short. I mean, great. Quantum, I don't know. I'm busy trying to figure out whether Jensen Huang knows when quantum's going to play a role. I love the people at Microsoft, but the idea that this is quantum's hour, they're the only... Well, it's easy to say it. SAP will say it. The problem is it commercial? And there isn't anyone who thinks that the companies that are currently trading are commercial companies.
Sean, I got to get your thoughts. These big names in tech, Microsoft today, Nvidia. I mean, they're adding a lot of credence to this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they're both kind of offering two types of credences. I mean, if you look at what Jensen's saying, I think Jensen, here's my forecast. I think Jensen's going to come out and he's going to say, look, he's there. If you look at Nvidia, they're engineers. And so what he's talking about is the reason why people think he poo-pooed it. He was really kind of right, because what he's saying is there's the scientists kind of running quantum computing right now, but he's an engineer and his whole company are great engineers. And so you've got the scientists running the show, but he's like, well, how do we make this practical? So I think that's the message he's really going to kind of clear up a little bit. And then, Microsoft jumping in and throw in education. I think that's awesome. I guess my only recommendation on the market is on the quantum side, we have a lot of scientists running the program right now, not enough engineers. And I think one of the things that we've done is we said, let's focus on engineering first. And so I think, when the market starts understanding the fact that if you start building chips that can leverage more engineering rather than science, I think you'll not only be able to solve the current problems, but I think the average American will look at it a lot more practically.
Hey, I'm going to get more into detail what you're doing, but just right now, I think the big argument here is like he was saying 15, 30 years. Obviously, that's nuts. The total addressable market, the TAM, and the potential timeline for all this are really when this stuff becomes a household name because people are using it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at this. But it's funny. He's got another point there. But if you look at the total addressable market right now in quantum computing, you've got companies with larger valuations right now than the total addressable market, right? So that's kind of an interesting concept. But I think what you're going to see here is a shift. If we have our way, you're going to see a shift because you want to start looking at maybe where quantum type concepts are going to impact other markets, and that's right. That's what we've been focusing on. So I think total addressable market doesn't make sense today, but I think it will pretty soon. Okay.
I got Jenny here with me for some more thoughts on what's working today. It's not a rally without the quantum stocks.
Of course it isn't.
Jenny, so what, AI and quantum going to get along a little bit better than maybe Jensen Huang suggested in his last commentary?
Well, so now we have heard from a lot of these CEOs, like the D-Wave CEO, who's like, that was completely false. Mind you, though, quantum computing is so complex that all things can still exist. You can still see various degrees of quantum computing already happening in today's world, while also Jensen Huang could also be correct about his projections. I think that still remains very much clear. But after seeing some of these names pummel like 50, 60% in just a span of a few days, now attempting to rocket higher, and despite, again, several CEOs, it wasn't even just Nvidia's CEO with this commentary. Microsoft wrote on its blog that 2025 was the year to become quantum ready, which also then was coupled with several analysts' upgrades to the sector and quantum computing stocks really off to the races. Additionally, we got some news that Nvidia announced plans to host its first Quantum Day at the GPU Technology Conference 2025, sparking further enthusiasm. That does not occur until March 20th, so that we have some time there. But I do think that is expected, at least per some reports, to convene industry leaders and experts to really discuss the state of quantum computing and its trajectory and the various applications and breakthroughs that it already does have in existence. And when I was first talking about this last week, everyone responded like, okay, Willow, like Alphabet's chip, for example, it's already happening as far as quantum computing, and that is correct. It's just, I think, again, both narratives can exist, and you can still be so preliminary in this space. I think it's the pace of growth we've seen in quantum computing over the last several years that really sparked so much interest.
Yeah, it's very true. It's speculative, it's early, but it certainly has a lot of promise and very exciting.
So volatility. So if you're into that for trading.
Yeah, which is, I think, what people really like about them mostly, to be honest. That they've had such wild swings. Rigetti being, I think, one of the most fun ones. LAES is also a pretty fun one. Seals Q. All right, so they're all up double digits after getting slammed. So the market's finding a lot of stuff to love today. Thanks, Jenny. All right. Nvidia doing a quantum day can't hurt either. Nvidia, it seems like anything it touches generally goes bullish, so quantum with some life plugged into it again.
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang in visiting China this week as the White House announces new export limits on AI chips. The new curbs causing shares to sell off over the last several days here. How do you view these new rules impacting Nvidia and other chip companies in the year ahead?
First of all, it's pretty unclear and it's unprecedented. And what I mean by unclear is the ruling relates to semiconductors that either are purpose-built for AI or are designed for AI. And that would put all gaming chips, for example, in that category. They might be primarily designed for gaming, but they're very much designed to have AI capabilities in them. And on the unprecedented part, you're looking at 120 countries, many of them sitting in the EU, like Portugal or even Mexico, that now have limits on that. And this is all going to be managed by a government agency. And I can't think of a worse thing for innovation and speed and revenue than having a traffic cop. I think we're all in on national security, but this is the wrong answer, and I fully expect the new administration coming in to overturn most of the onerous elements of this and maybe provide some clarification.
Jim Cramer criticized the U.S. government's recent export restrictions on AI chips, arguing that they could harm the tech industry's innovation and growth. He expressed frustration with the Commerce Department's decisions, particularly excluding countries like Israel and Iceland from the list of friendly nations. Cramer called for more dialogue with tech leaders to better balance national security and technological advancement. The conversation also covered quantum computing, with Cramer acknowledging the excitement around the field, despite its early-stage development. He noted the volatility of quantum stocks and the importance of engineering in making quantum computing practical. The announcement of Nvidia's Quantum Day highlighted the growing interest, though Cramer remained cautious about its immediate commercial potential. How will the U.S. export restrictions impact the future of the tech industry? Is quantum computing ready for practical use, or is it still too early?